Hey, listen, in tonight's success tips, I want to talk in tonight's success tip. There will be several tips, I guess. I want to talk to you about the thing that could be holding you back. Something that could be stopping you from achieving the success that you want to achieve, meaning it's capping your growth and it's additional resistance. Like you know what to do, and as you push forward, instead of having like a rocket ship to your back that's just propelling you forward at high speed and success is becoming easy, growing your business is becoming easy, getting that job promotion is becoming easy. Instead of that, you end up in this situation where it's like it feels like you take 10 steps forward and 8 steps back, and you take 12 steps forward and 10 steps back, and it seems like it's just the path to success is so much more difficult than it should be. Or worse yet, you get stuck and it's like you can't make any forward progress and you don't know what to do. Listen, there is something that can make success so much simpler, and we're going to be talking about that tip. We're going to be talking about that strategy tonight. But before we do that, very quickly, my name is Jackie O'Quinn. I'm a trainer here with Destiny Global. Thank you so much for being here. Every Wednesday night, we bring you a success tip. It's totally free. You just need to plug in live. You don't want to miss it. Set your calendar, set your alarm, do whatever you need to do. Bookmark this Destiny Global Facebook page because this is your free success tip every single week. The whole goal is to help you grow your income, make more money, grow your business, get that promotion on a job, whatever it takes to help you start to achieve the level of success that you want in your life so you can have financial independence, financial freedom, and be able to spend more time with your family and your loved ones, being able to grow those relationships. At Destiny Global, that is our entire mission, whether it's here on the free success tips or one of our live training, 3-day training events called First Steps to Success. And if you want more information about our next one, we have one coming up. Time's running out, tickets are going to be selling out, the hotel is going to be booking up. So if you want more information, go to destinyglobal.com, look at events at the top, and look at First Steps to Success. Hopefully I'll see you there. All right, so tonight I want to talk about the path to success, and sometimes why is it harder than it needs to be? And it has everything to do with our environment, the environment that we're in. Listen, I want to ask you a very honest question. Do you have friends or family members in your life that when you start talking about having goals and dreams, that they kind of slow you down, or they kind of kibosh your dreams? They always want to tell you the negative of what could happen, or they want to tell you, don't get your hopes up, or they're critical, or maybe even judgmental. You talk about wanting to get a raise on your job, and they're going to talk about you being greedy. You talk about wanting to start a business or start a business on the side. Maybe you want to start a part-time business around your full-time job, and they're like, why do you want to do that? Are you ever satisfied? And don't get greedy. And when you hear those sort of things, how does it make you feel on the inside? What if you had an entire group of friends that were for you, that were encouraging you, that were supportive with you, that could problem solve when things were, when you were having a hard time on the job, with certain coworkers or getting certain tasks done or certain projects done, and you were trying to figure some problems out, you needed some help? What if you had any number of friends, like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 different friends you could call, knowing that they would all be a listening ear, they would be encouraging, they'd be motivating for you? What would that be like? That's the rocket ship at your back propelling you forward. You've got someone always there giving you encouragement or even giving you guidance, helping you get to that next step. That's what we call our environment, our social environment, our friendly environment. Listen, we can't always control the family members that we have. Chances are you've got someone in your family, I'm hoping they all love you and support you, but some of them support you in different ways, and not everyone's supportive of big goals, big dreams, or taking that business to the next level. And that's okay, we can love them anyway. But what if we had friends that were like-minded, that were encouraging, that were motivating? You know the saying that iron sharpens iron, or environment is everything? My wife loves this statement. She says this often. She says that, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. Now, typically when people hear the statement of, like, show me your 5 closest friends and, I'll show you your future, or, your income is probably the average income of the 5 closest people to you, or the 10 closest people. And there's some bad success teaching, in my opinion. I think it's bad. They'll say things like, oh, go out there and get a bunch of go out there and get rid of your friends and find a bunch of new friends. I don't ever agree with get rid of friends. In fact, I'll share with you a really personal story early on in my entrepreneur journey. Something happened with one of my friends, and I'll share that with you towards the end of the video. But I want to talk about how to improve your current environment. How can you put yourself in an environment with people that are like-minded? First of all, if you don't want people criticizing you, here's a very simple thing to remember. If you don't want people criticizing you, criticizing your goals, then make certain that you're someone who doesn't criticize your current friends. And I know that sounds very simple, but it's natural. It's very much a human thing to be critical. And a lot of times it can come from a place of concern. Have you thought about this? Are you aware of this? Be careful for this. Well, someone who's hopeful about the future, but maybe nervous, when you say, please be careful, or have you thought about this? And you're just trying to be concerned, a lot of times that can be a seed of fear in them, and that can make them feel like you're being very critical. Instead, just be available, just be a listening ear, and be encouraging inside of their strengths. I'm a firm believer in what you get out, you will get back. It's reaping and sowing. Sowing and reaping, however you want to say it. So whatever you put out there, you will get back. So if you're more encouraging to people, then people will naturally be a little bit more encouraging to you. But there's another thing. That is, look for additional friends who have similar interest in career acceleration. So if you want to really prepare yourself in your current field, look for people in your current field of work, in your current industry, who are looking to do the same thing. Or if you're in business, and in your business, you're looking to grow your business. Maybe you could have a flower shop and you want to grow your flower business, or you could have an online business. You could be a content creator. You could be an influencer or an inspiring influencer on YouTube or Instagram or something like that, TikTok. And you just want to get better and you want to get better. Chances are, if you're starting down that new career path, or if it's a career path you've been in for a while and you're looking to upgrade yourself to that next level, that next promotion, you're really trying to take control of your life and your career and your finances, your income, and so you're wanting that next promotion, then a lot of times the people that you're currently surrounded with right now can't necessarily relate in the same way. So I would encourage you to start putting yourself out there in new environments. What does that look like? Where do you find these people? You can always go to networking groups and things like that. You could go to your town, you could go to your chamber of commerce. Some of that will be helpful. But I encourage you to look at your current industry you're in. If your goal is to grow as an influencer, for example, let's go there, then I would recommend that you look for training events or networking events or meetups, specifically training events though. Look, if you want to improve, look for people who are also wanting to improve. I have a financial YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel is under a whole different name, a whole different brand. But I made a really good contact one time by taking an online course to really improve my skill set in that area. And I ended up connecting with a couple of people. One guy, we ended up doing some collaborations together. And it was all because of that community. Well, now take it to the next level. Go and meet people in person. Go to a convention if there's a convention, or go to some sort of live seminar. Go wherever you can, some conference where people are at that are looking to do something similar to what you're doing. If you're in the flower industry, then there almost always is going to be some sort of trade show or convention. There's somebody, trying to show people how to grow florist, how to build a multi-million-dollar floral business. That training exists out there somewhere, probably. Seek it out, not just for the training, but also for the connections of the people you're going to meet. When you meet those people, show up with the intention of looking to meet people, by the way. And don't necessarily look for what you can get out of these people. Instead, look for who you can build connections with and make real connections. Make certain you connect with them on social media. Exchange contact information if you can, so that way you don't lose touch with them at that weekend. And if you don't know anywhere else, I'm going to give you somewhere you can plug into that you're practically guaranteed to meet some very like-minded people. And I'll share that with you a little bit later in the video. But when you go to these conventions, your whole purpose is, who can I meet? Get their names. See if you can get their phone number. Definitely connect with them on social media. That's a very easy thing. Hey, I've enjoyed our conversation. We're both here. We're looking to grow our floral business. And I'm just using that as an example. We're looking to, we're both looking to grow as influencers. Who knows, our paths may cross in the future. Maybe we can collaborate at some point in the future. Let's connect on social media. I'll follow you on Instagram, you follow me on Instagram, or I'll follow you on YouTube, you follow me on YouTube, or TikTok, or whatever. Just using that as an example. Make certain that you connect the best you can during the event. Once you leave the event, be sure to like and encourage, interact on social media, even if it wasn't a social media event. If it's a floral event, you can go to someone's business review page. You can leave them a positive review. Hey, I met the owner of this business at a convention. I know this is a floral business and this has nothing to do with flowers, but his character was impeccable and he offered me some valuable advice. I'm technically a competitor of his. It's not every day that you're fortunate enough to have someone with high caliber and high integrity operating this sort of floral business here in your town. If you have a chance to do business with X, Y, and Z Floral Company, I encourage you to check them out based on the character and the caliber of the individual who owns and runs this business. It's a very, very honorable thing to do. It makes you look good, it makes them look good, and it sows really positive seed for that individual. Reach out to them, encourage them in business. How's their business doing? Be the person reaching out and be the giver. Relationships are always give and take, so don't necessarily expect to take. Be very intentional about being a giver in the relationship, and that will grow your connections. And eventually you'll get in a spot where you're able to connect more regularly, more informally, whether you can text each other or have an actual friendship, an actual relationship. And I encourage you to do this because when something's going great in your business or great on the job, by the way, I want to back up for a moment. Even if you're an employee of a floral company, and I'm just using floral company as an example because I was thinking of something random. You may be like, hey, I'm just a delivery guy. Well, if you're looking for a promotion, then I encourage you to go to trainings. You probably aren't going to find a training for people that are, want to be better floral delivery guys, but you can probably find trainings on how to grow a floral business. That's a secret tip to helping you get a raise, by the way, on the job, when people realize that you're really taking ownership of the business. And it can be any business or any industry. I mean, just imagine for a moment, I'm getting off topic here, but just imagine for a moment that you have some sort of manufacturing business and your manufacturing business makes, I don't know, rubber molds. And you find out that one of your factory workers has been doing his own or her own continuing education on the rubber mold business. And they've been, going to conferences, trying to learn more about the latest techniques, the latest strategies, what's going on. They're not coming to you necessarily trying to tell you how to run your business. They're just pouring into themselves. How would that make you feel if you were in charge of, or if you're the boss or the employee? Chances are it would make you feel pretty good. Chances are it would show a lot of initiative. That's just a side strategy to help you get a promotion. By the way, we have an entire section on helping you get a promotion at First Steps to Success. That's just one of several strategies. But I'm getting off the topic here. If your goal is to grow in that business of rubber molds, for example, and rubber mold manufacturing, you want to get into management, then look for management classes, training, etc. Oh, as well as training on rubber molds and whatever your industry is in. The bottom line is be very intentional about creating connections, creating friendships, and then make certain that you're doing your best to pour into those friendships. Now, does that mean you got to get rid of your old friends? No, not at all. Not at all. But I will tell you that you don't deserve, no one deserves to be disrespected or criticized. So don't let your current friends and current family member criticize you. Don't let them try to squash your dreams. And you don't have to be a jerk. Just limit your exposure to them when they're in that state of mind where they're being very critical. And you need to guard your mind and guard your heart. Steer the conversation in a different direction. Listen, I'll give you an example. Early on in life, I started a part-time business. Now that business was an online travel business many years ago. At the time, I had a full-time career as a registered nurse. A lot of people knew in my family that I worked really hard to become an RN. And as I was working as an RN, I was looking for a side business. I always had a goal to be able to be financially independent and financially wealthy. I didn't come from wealth. I came from very humble beginnings early on in my life. So the idea that I just realized the world is my oyster. I can make choices in this life that can affect my future. And one of those choices was I felt like I needed to make more income. I didn't know anything about business, didn't know anything about starting business, but I was always eager and I was very excited. And I had someone in my family come to me and say, why, you have a good job, you have a good career. Why in the world are you looking to do something different? Why do you want to look at the world? Are you being greedy? You're looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. Why can't you just be satisfied with what you got? And in that particular case, I just made certain that I sort of did not bring up my job or my business. in front of that individual on purpose. I just avoided the conversation. But I had met other people who were very, very encouraging. I had a whole new set of friends who had entrepreneurial aspirations. We were all in around the same area of life and hopes and goals and dreams, trying to start businesses kind of at that ground level. Some of us in the same business, some of us in different businesses. And I'll share with you where I met some of them in a minute. But the thing is, like, I knew that there was people I could reach out to, whether it was through social media or pick up the phone and talk to somebody. And I knew then I had a support system who was willing to support my goals and support my dreams. My family member loved me. They just didn't agree with what my goals were in life. That doesn't make them bad. It just makes them different. They have different aspirations than I have, and that's totally okay. There are some times that crazy stuff can happen. I did have one particular relationship that, because I had goals of having financial success in life and I wanted to be more mature as I was 19, 20, 21 years old, I did have a friendship that something kind of crazy happened, and I'll share that with you. And it shocked me. And my wife recently asked me, probably about a month and a half ago, she said, does it still bother you all those years ago? Because I mentioned this person's name. She said, does it still bother you all those years ago? Because this was someone that was my one or two very best friends in the world at the time. And I took a step back and I said, I guess it kind of does. I need to work through that a little bit. Now that you say that, because I brought it up very passionately. And so here's what happened. I had a friend of mine, and we grew up together, went through high school together. He goes to the military. I went off to college. He ends up getting stationed back near us, near our hometown. And we were hanging out together, and I had graduated as a nurse, and I went through school and struggled and finally got through school, and I was done. It was really hard, and I felt like I had this new freedom. I just had a job and I wasn't studying all the time. And he had a job in the military. So when we were off, we just hung out together. And in our early 20s, that meant we were playing video games. We were, getting in the cars, hanging out all hours of the night, driving God knows where, doing God knows what, all over the place, just having a blast. We both had money, both had jobs, and no real responsibility, right? And so it was awesome. And I did this for several months, maybe even a year and a half. And suddenly I had this urgency inside of me. The urgency was, Jackie, are you going to act like you're in college forever? Meaning, are you going to act like an adult college kid, essentially? Or are you going to get really serious about building the business? You said you've always wanted to have a business. And at the time, I didn't have my travel business. So it's like, are you going to get really serious and try to start and build a business? I had all the time in the world. I didn't have any kids, right? I wasn't married at the time. And so I realized, okay, so I made some ground rules for myself. And the ground rules were, I will not hang out with my buddy and his roommates. I won't hang out there all throughout the week. Because literally, if I had a day off, I was over there. When I got off work, I was over there. I'd hang out till 2 or 3 in the morning. I'd get back home. I'd work second shift to go back home and do it all over again the next day. And then when I was off, I had 2 or 3 days off in a row. Then I'd be hanging out, the entire time. Sometimes I wouldn't even come home. I'd sleep over there. I'd come home, take a shower, change clothes, and go back, kind of thing. And so it was like, okay, so here's your ground rules. You can hang out on the weekends, but not every weekend. You have a job. The job is learn to build a business. So at 5 o'clock on the weekends, you're gonna, you're done. You can go hang out. Up until 5 o'clock, you need to get out of bed at a reasonable hour before 10 o'clock, and you need to work on figuring out what business you're gonna build, learn how you're gonna build business, and really start figuring some things out. So I went to my buddy and I said, hey, I just want you to know, I love hanging out with you. We have an absolute blast. But I need to really get serious. If I want to build a business, then I need to take some time and start focusing on learning how to build some sort of business. So here's what I'm going to do. And I told him, every weekend, at 5 o'clock, we can hang out. He's like, all right, great. So here's what happened. When I would get ready, I wouldn't see him all week. I wouldn't see my friend all week. And then the weekend would come. We'd talk on the phone a couple times. He'd be like, hey, you hanging out this weekend? I was like, yeah, I'll be over there, in the evening or late afternoon. So I would get done 5 o'clock. I would head out, boom, go. In fact, I was gone. I'd leave the house by 5:15, 5:20. I was so excited to get out. I would go over to my buddy's house. He was already gone. I'd call him up. Hey, where you at? Oh, me and these other guys, we all went to Raleigh or whatever. I lived in North Carolina at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like an hour and a half away. All right. I get it. You don't got to wait around and hang out with me. Well, this happened 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And it got to where we'd hang out like once a week, the whole month we'd hang out maybe 1 or 2 days, as opposed to several days a week. And And I saw this happening and I thought, okay, it is what it is. That's cool. So I was trying to be a good friend. So I'm making a point to hang out more often. So I was trying to connect with him for lunch. And one day I get off work, I work day shift, and I get off work, go over to his house, and we end up meeting for dinner that night, 5 o'clock. Now this had been going on, this whole new chapter of my life had been going on for about 3 or 4 months. And we're eating, we went out to a restaurant, we're eating, and all of a sudden he says, Jackie, why are you here? Why are we here? I said, what do you mean? Because we're friends. And he said, are we really? Because my friends want to hang out with me. And I tried to explain to him, I like to hang out with you. We've always had great times together. We've known each other forever. We said we were going to be best men in each other's wedding. We were going to, see each other, start a family and have kids one day. And we were going to be in each other's lives. And he very much got upset. And I did not get a chance to explain. And this is someone I thought was a very good friend of mine. No matter how much I explained my side to him, he finally just said, we are not friends. I didn't know how to take that. And long story short, that was the last conversation I ever had with him. It's the last time I saw him. But you know what? Had I taken his advice, and he said to me, money's not everything. I never said it was, by the way. He said, business and career is not everything. I never said it was. I was being reasonable, I felt like. Let's hang out on the weekends, in the evening, outside of work hours. But because I did choose to chase my dreams, I ended up meeting and marrying my wife because of that business that I ended up starting. I ended up early on in my early 20s, I became totally self-employed. Had my first $70,000 year, my first year in business. It was a part-time income at the time was $70,000, which is more money than I made working full-time as a nurse. My second year did $120,000. Grew that business. We did over $100 million in sales throughout that entire sales organization. It was absolutely incredible. It changed my life. It helped me start a family, support a family, start having kids. I have 3 kids to this day. We travel 6 to 12 weeks a year. I'm literally going to be on vacation coming up a little bit later in the summer. I mean, this whole summer's booked. It's like one trip after another, one plan after another. I'm going out of town for business. I get to travel for business. I get to travel for pleasure. I make memories all over the world. My kids have experienced so many things. They've been to other countries. And it's an unbelievable, fulfilling life that I have. But the path that I was going down with my early best friend, he wanted just to work a job, and I worked a job. We didn't work a second job. We just hung out on the weekends, spend all of our spare time together. And he didn't understand I had goals and ambitions. Today I have friends who have, many of my friends, we literally made our first $1 million together, our first 6-figure income together. Some of them are in different industries. Some of them were in my industry. I have connections all over the world. It's been an unbelievably fulfilling life. I'm 43 years old. God willing, I'm going to live to 120. But if something happened to me today, I am so thankful for the choices that I made in my life and what we've been able to accomplish and what we've been able to do. And it did cost me one friend, and it was a close friend, and it was a dear friend, but he couldn't understand. That was his fault. It was not mine. And I've made many, many more incredible friends. And I want to share with you, if you don't know where you can go to meet people, community people who can be motivation-minded, entrepreneurial-minded, promotion-minded, meaning success-minded, want to be able to get in. People that are success-minded are a little bit different than the average person. The average person, really and truly, they live for Friday. It's like, thank God it's Friday. We got the weekend. They live for holidays to get that momentary break. They take 1 to 2 weeks of vacation a year. That's it. They don't really want more. It's really a unique, peculiar type of people that want to be able to live an extraordinary life, be able to make an impact, make a difference, be able to spend time traveling and vacationing, not having to worry about living paycheck to paycheck. That's not everyone. Even though it seems like it should be everyone, it's not everyone. I mean, everybody would say they want it, but very few people are willing to go after it. But I'm going to tell you where you can meet a group of people that are going after success. They're looking to support you. They want to encourage you. And there's so many different people, new connections, new friends you can make. And that's at one of our live events, First Steps to Success. I encourage you, get there. These events are in high demand. They oftentimes sell out. There are sometimes virtual tickets available, but I'm going to encourage you to show up in person at an event whenever it's live. Show up in person, meet people, connect people, and I look forward to meeting you there. Ladies and gentlemen, birds of a feather may flock together and iron may sharpen iron, but we get to determine the birds that we're going to flock with. And we get to determine the quality of iron that's going to sharpen us. Environment is everything, and we get to control our environment. You deserve to have an environment that is going to support you and encourage you. You deserve to have people around you that want the very best for you. I hope to see you soon at a First Steps to Success. And if not, I look forward to seeing you here on these success tips, each and every one. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great night and God bless.